Remember last time we started talking about the treatment of distributions. And we said there are a few different kinds of distributions. There are operating and liquidating distributions. A liquidating distribution is a distribution to a partner at the end of that partner's membership in the partnership. So the whole partnership doesn't have to liquidate, we've just liquidated that partner's interest. An operating distribution is any other distribution, a distribution to a partner, while that partner is still a member of the partnership. Then each of those categories is subdivided between pro rata and non-pro rata distributions. Pro rata here has a special meaning. A pro rata distribution is one that does not change any partner's share of the partnership's ordinary gains. So we talked last time about non-pro rata operating distributions. And non-pro rata operating distributions in cash, we've already learned how they work. Cash distributions reduce outside basis, and to the extent that they exceed outside basis, they're treated as gains from the sale of a partnership interest, and they're probably capital gain. There's some question about whether Section 751 should apply to recharacterize some of that gain as ordinary in the case where the partnership has built-in ordinary gains. But the IRS seems to have taken the position that 751 doesn't apply in this context. That is, when you have a cash distribution in excess of outside basis, it's capital gain. At least that's the position the regulations currently take. In the case of in-kind distributions, they are a non-recognition event. So whether the property is held by the partner or the partnership, moving in one direction or the other is not supposed to be a taxable event. I remind you that if you've taken a corporate tax class, this is different than the approach that Subchapter C takes. Subchapter C only allows the contribution of assets to the corporation when the contributing shareholders are in control of the corporation immediately afterwards. And what's the treatment in a corporate context of in-kind distributions to a shareholder? So if you get built-in gain property in the corporation, what happens? You have gains at the corporate level, as if the property had been sold. And you have a taxable dividend at the shareholder level in the amount of the fair market value of the property. The partnership system instead treats the distribution of the property back to the partner as a non-recognition event. So arguably, the partnership tax system is doing better at maintaining neutrality as to where those assets are held. But as we'll see, the opportunity to distribute things of value back to the partner without them being taxable immediately creates temptation. And where there's temptation, there have to be anti-abuse. So the price of neutrality here is a series of complications that we will have to walk through the rest of Unit 13. So then we can ask ourselves kind of at the end, once more, was it really worth it? Was it worth it to provide neutrality as between whether the asset is held at the partnership or partner level at the expense of the complexity that we're going to encounter? I think it's not conceptually difficult, it's just does a lot of steps. Literally, I think, in the case of Section 734, which we'll see soon. Aside to that aside, you can ask yourself, why doesn't the corporate system allow distributions, tax-free distributions, tax-deferred distributions back to a controlling shareholder so that it's kind of the mirror image of Section 351? And you say, oh, wait a second, it does. That's Section 332. Right? A corporation that breaks up and distributes assets back to a controlling corporate parent, that's a tax deferral. So the real difference between the partnership and the corporate setting is that the partnership can distribute property to any partner, even a partner who doesn't control the